All right, I wanted to talk about this, and this is the Moon Studio director. His recent comments towards Microsoft Xbox exclusivity, and the standard that he only applies to Microsoft for some reason. And all right, so to break it down real quick, and this is just the gist of it. I'm going to leave, what he said in this video, so you could pause and read it and get the full understanding. So I'm giving you a gist of it so I could talk about this. So basically, to sum up real quick what he was talking about, he thinks Microsoft should put, all their games everywhere. And it's funny, and he's talking about how so many people were saying, oh man, it sucks that I can't play Ori on PlayStation, this and that. But my thing is, and he doesn't really mention this in his statements, why does this only apply to Microsoft? You know what I'm saying? Why doesn't this? I wouldn't have a problem with this statement if he said that this should apply to Nintendo. They should put their games everywhere. PlayStation should put their games everywhere, and so on. Which is a mentality I'm not completely against. I've said it before. I don't, I like games that I like, and the word exclusive doesn't have a strong bearing on my taste of games. It's why I've been hyping up games like Fable and Avowed for so long, because I am an RPG fan. That's what gets me excited, that they're a style of game that I enjoy. Ori, this beautiful Metroidvania game, that's what made it so great. But to see him just only hold this standard that Microsoft is the only one who's put their games everywhere is where I'm a bit confused at, and to make things worse, this is a developer who's only got their chance because Microsoft funded them. And not only did Microsoft fund them, Microsoft eventually let them put their game on Nintendo. And they just so badly wants to sell the PlayStation, and which, I guess is fine, but why come at Microsoft about this? You know that these are console makers. You know these console makers need content to bring people to their platform. Microsoft spent a whole generation being told they had no games. Right now, the last thing they should do is put more games, especially ones that they paid for, spent money on in some form, on other platforms. And which, again, if he applied this standard to everything, cool. Hell, there's a part of me that even be like, yeah, I kind of agree. Why should I have to buy a PlayStation, to play Spider-Man as a fan of superhero games? Or why should I buy Nintendo to play Bayonetta 3? It's just one of the very few Nintendo games that even looks interesting to me. So there's a part of me that does feel that way. Now, it doesn't break my heart that I need a PlayStation. It's not that big of a deal like it is to him. It's just something that I can side with that reasoning and thinking from certain gamers. With that said, you can't tell a platform that spent years hearing they have no games, that supported you. You're the Xbox fans supported Ori while PlayStation fans trashed the game, and you still want to sell to the PlayStation audience. You know what I'm saying? And then it leads to this other factor. How the hell does Sony and Nintendo keep getting this kind of loyalty from these developers that Microsoft be working with? The developers of Cuphead. The reason why we haven't seen that DLC is because Microsoft stopped funding him, because originally Cuphead was supposed to be a lifetime exclusive. And I'm going to leave evidence of that in this video as well. So Cuphead was supposed to be a lifetime exclusive, right? In the same way like the Gunk is a studio that Microsoft doesn't own, but they helped them develop it, and the goal was to have their game on their platform. And then eventually it went to Nintendo and PlayStation, which is fine, but the caveat of that was they lost Microsoft's funding, because, again, understandably so, Microsoft is still a company at the end of the day. They don't want to they're not going to just spend so every other platform could reap the benefits of what they're spending money on. That's what happened with Scalebound situation. So Microsoft helped you develop it, and you still want these games on other platforms, that's why you're working with a third-party publisher. Cool. My thing is, why does this only apply to Microsoft? You know, and then how do these companies that work with Microsoft just get this loyalty to Sony, or just putting their games everywhere else? But you never see the different. You know, you never see. The other side doesn't happen unless Microsoft pays for it. The Yakuza games were on PlayStation forever until Microsoft paid Sega to have them on Game Pass and things like that. You know, Microsoft still didn't get games like Guilty Gear and all that stuff. You know, so that's where I'm also coming from with this. But yeah, that's overall my thoughts. You know, look, people confuse Microsoft statements a lot. They think that Microsoft Play Anywhere initiative means play their games on literally any console. And there's probably, Phil Spencer probably does want Game Pass on Nintendo and PlayStation, for all we know, you know, but at the end of the day, right now, all it means is this. The initiative is to make Xbox accessible so that you can play it on your phone, your PC, your tablet. Hell, you might even play it off your TV one day in the Xbox console itself. And I don't know why that's so hard to understand. You know, the initiative right now for Xbox is to try to get as many gamers as possible, and the way to do that is to make your games playable as many places as possible. But they're also not sacrificing the Xbox brand to make everything playable on PlayStation. Yeah, so I think I covered everything I want to say here. You know, these comments to me were quite baffling, in the sense that Moon Studios is talking like they don't understand Microsoft's situation. And I mean, and also the thing is that everybody, you know, look, when the Avowed was announced last year, I saw articles stating about how, you know, people were like, hey, is Avowed coming to PlayStation? When Perfect Dark was revealed at last year's Game Awards, I remember seeing videos of people upset that the game was coming to Xbox and I guess not Nintendo. People ask for games on other platforms all the time, Moon Studios. That's nothing new. And then it's even stranger that you want to sell to the #1 audience that hates your game more than anything. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, man. And shout out to Hebot, because he inspired me to make this video after watching his. And I want to give my 2 cents. And with that, enjoy your day, and I'm out.